Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell, live from Clubhouse on Main Street in Glastonbury. 2866 is the number. And people are at the billiards tables. People are throwing the axes.
This is like a perfect mix of like adults and kids. Like you got this kid zone over there, which there's some adults hanging out in, and then you've got literally what they call the drink zone.
The drink zone.
I guess the end zone of the bar right there, where we've got Jalen Hurts and a guy wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey and company hanging out, getting ready for some Monday Night Football coming up. Dude, we have had a lot of great local football and great local football stories. But sadly, some of our lesser talked about teams did not have the best of weekend in the playoffs.
Do tell.
We've already told you Yale beat Harvard in the game. Our friends at Trinity capped off a year with a big win in Bowdoin to end their season.
I think it's Bedoin.
so y'all,
Bedoin,
Bowdoin, however you want to pronounce it.
Bowdoin.
They've got a big win there.
Doing some bad things.
The Polar Bears of Bowdoin, by the way.
I love the Polar Bears.
However, WestCon got waxed by John Hopkins in the first round.
Yeah, them doctors, future doctors, pretty smart football players.
60-20, 60-something to 20. I hate that for our WestCon friends because it's awesome to make a playoff game.
We love WestCon.
Even going on the road in playoff game, and then when you see that happen, just off to a bad start right there with John Hopkins. And an even worse start for New Haven. Now, the end of the game did not finish that way, but New Haven did not win against Charleston of West Virginia.
So they weren't.
They were not
all charged up.
They needed to be even more charged up than what they were. What, Henry? That was great.
They were just not charged.
Those programs are going in the right direction.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely going in the right direction. It was just sorry to see that they both got bounced from the playoffs.
One of the biggest stories, James Madison losing.
JMU
getting beat over the weekend.
College game day comes to your town, and then they could not complete the
I thought Pat McAfee was a little over the top.
I'm with him, though. I think that the NCAA
I'm with him, but I'm not. Other teams have
stupid.
had to wait. Other teams have had to wait to get into those bowls. Just because you're undefeated one week, now you're not undefeated.
Well, I would rather have the undefeated just got to FBS in a bowl game than any 5-7 team.
I agree with that mentality. What I'm saying is don't be so harsh on the end. Listen, we're harsh enough on the NCAA. They can't change every rule because it's 2023. So
I don't know. I feel like this rule was made for the SEC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the ACC, so you don't let these little lesser-known schools like JMU get any kind of bowl game money or bowl game shine. Listen, nobody wants who is really protecting these bowl games? Like, are you really going to be
corporations that are putting the money behind them?
Good, great. Well, I'll tell you what, corporations, you would rather have a game with JMU in it than 5-7 Southern Miss. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't even know if Southern Miss is 5-7. They might be better than that.
Now they're ticked.
But still, like, I think they care about ratings and making more money in the next negotiation that they do. And if they don't have
some of those 5-7 games against a 6-6 team, you think they get any ratings? I don't think they do.
Exactly. Now imagine if you had the JMU-sters in there. The old fighting James Madisons. The fighting Dukes. Go Dukes. But they did lose. It would have been better if they would have beat App State. That was an overtime game, by the way.
Game.
It's a great game.
More power to App State for taking them out.
App State was that team.
Yep.
Before there was JMU, there was App State. And both of those, I think that's the most fascinating thing, I think, when those two teams are competing for FCS national titles. And, like, I haven't been a part of those kind of runs. I've been around App State in North Carolina when they're making their runs. I wasn't covering the team or anything like that. It's just when those weeks are happening, like week in, week out, are they going to win? Who they're going to play? They're hosting a playoff game. It's the Final Four. Man, that place is going to be rocking. And it always was for those games. But I understand those games financially, putting all those national championships Amani Edwards and App State won in the early 2000s, put those all together in a basket, and how much money App State, with all those home playoff games made, all of that fun, all of that function, all of that stuff in Boone, North Carolina, does not compare to App State going to Alabama and getting paid to get their butt kicked. Like that game, losing to an SEC power and getting $1.5 million for it.
It helps the program
That's
immensely.
more money and more
But that's
help.
why Fresno State's so good now, because I was working out west, and they would take every USC and every UCLA game. But my thing with McAfee is, instead of screaming at them and calling them a-holes and all this other stuff,
that's his shtick.
Be more politically correct and be like, okay, let's negotiate this. This isn't the right thing to do. And I agree it's not the right thing to do. I agree they should be going to the bowl. But I think sometimes when you come, head on people like that, then they back off even more. So my thing about that whole thing was look at the support that you have for JMU and say, hey, listen, this is the support that we have. These people would love to go to a bowl. Why can't we have a discussion about that?
So I'm guessing, this is what I've heard, we've got 36 bowl games now? 36?
I thought there's 41.
Is there
last
41?
Year, yeah.
Man, if there's 41, then that's 82 teams that you need. Now, 3 of those bowl games will be taken up by the college football playoff. So let's just call that 40. There's 80 teams that you need. There is no way you have got 6 and 6, 80 teams that are 6 and 6 above. So JMU will be the next in. If there's a need for a non-bowl eligible team, then JMU jumps the line and they will be the first one in. I think that will be the case. But now you're talking about, let's say they win next week. I don't even know who they play. Let's say they're 11-1. 11-1 JMU taking on a 6-6 whoever. I don't know, man. I'd rather see an 11-1 JMU take on a 9-2 or 10-2 SEC team just to see how they compare and they match up to that kind of level. I think the bowl system is totally out-whacked, but when you realize that each bowl is its individual entity, it has no real affiliation with the NCAA, they're going to do what they want to do. I just feel bad for the Dukes, man. They've had a great season. They should be rewarded for it at the end.
There's 40 until you get to the playoff, and there's 3 more. So overall, there's 43 bowl games.
And then that playoff will take care of one of those, so let's just call it 42. So you got 84 teams you need. 84. There's 135, 137 Division I teams to choose from, so 53 out of the 130 will not make a bowl, which does not sound like anything to brag about. I'm sorry. It sounds like a playoff
They
team
could have
in the
sent
NBA.
them to the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
That would be perfect, wouldn't it? It's in Carolina, too.
That would be perfect. It is. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I think we're zoning in on something.
There you go. Well, listen, they still may go to a bowl. They just might not be in the playoff.
They're definitely not going to be in the playoff, and I knew that.
They didn't play a tough enough schedule.
No, but, a part of that isn't their fault either. That's what's so tough. Like right now more than ever, it's so tough to be I'm going to use the old term, mid-major football team.
Right.
Because if you are that good, how many people are going to leave JMU to go get big NIL dollars in the Power Fives or the SEC, Big 12, Big 10 that are on that team now? Like just keeping them there. They don't have the NIL money to compete with right down the block, Virginia Tech. So it's so tough on that front. Now you're basically playing a Sun Belt schedule, and no big team wants to play you because not only we got to pay you, you might beat us. No thanks. So for them to even set up a tough schedule for the committee's liking is almost out of the question.
Who's paying for this bowl? The L.A. Bowl hosted by Gronk.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel paid for it last year. Remember that?
Okay,
that was the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. So I don't know if Jimmy Kimmel's...
How much you coming up with that?
I don't know how much these bowls cost. Honestly, that's a dream job of mine. CEO of the Hawaii Bowl, please give it to me now. I will do such a good job, Rob. Only one game, and I live in Hawaii the whole time. Gosh, bring that on.
How about the famous Toastery Bowl?
Oh, the Toastery Bowl. Everyone loves that one.
In Charlotte. There's a lot of games in Charlotte, by the way.
Bank of America Stadium is a great place to have a bowl game of something you don't care about.
I'm going to give you a couple. You're going to love these names. The Idaho
Potato Bowl is a great one. Going to have the Vandals a part of it. Boise State will be there. Can't wait.
Well, the military one's the GoBowling.com military
Yes,
bowl, which I
Army
like.
will probably be there. Air Force is going to get screwed out of something awesome, too. Air Force will probably have that game and play somebody at a lesser caliber than what Air Force is bringing to the table this year.
I can't wait to watch.
What?
December 28th is the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. You know how cold it's going to be? Boston, Massachusetts at Fenway on December 28th.
We talked to the Wasabi CEO. Remember, it's
Yeah.
not about wasabi, the flavoring. It's like
No.
some kind of financial situation.
It is. It is a financial, conglomerate.
But they stuff them in Fenway. Yes, it will be cold. And, yes, watch out, that fade route might run you into the green monster.
Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl
Oh,
at
this
Yankee Stadium
new-
is one of my favorites.
It used to be the new era
Yep.
Pinstripe Bowl, but now Bad Boy Mowers is taking it over. Yes, this one is always fascinating.
You and I
too.
need to get to some of these. The Pop-Tarts Bowl. I'm a
This
huge
is new.
Pop-Tarts guy.
There's a Pop-Tarts Bowl?
It's in Orlando at Camping World Stadium.
Awesome.
And then this one I think's been around for a while. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
Yes, that's down in Arizona, the Sun Bowl, Tony the Tiger. It's great.
It's great. You got Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Anything that has to do with food, I want to go to that
You're
bowl.
there.
And remember last year the Cheez-Its Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
They had the Cheez-Its rooms.
Yeah.
One for each team.
That's the one thing I always think about is the gift bag that comes with these bowls, like the Chick-fil-A Bowl gift bag. Oh, man.
Oh, my God, those players must go
Are
crazy.
you just talking like a box of chicken sandwiches and a bunch of brownies?
That's what I'm talking about. If
A
I'm a
helmet
lineman,
full
I'm
of
already
brownies.
350 pounds, and I can have all the Chick-fil-A. Honestly, the chicken's great. The brownies are amazing.
Told you, I
chocolate
lived
chip
off
cookies
those
are amazing.
brownies when I got out of college. I was
Dude.
coaching high school ball, and we were supposed to give them to kids, but I'm sorry.
Ben hoarded them.
Receiver coach got to eat.
Much love right there. I'm telling you right now, like Circle K and Cumberland Farms kept me alive in the minor leagues.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
What was the go-to? What was the go-to food? the gas station?
Oscar Mayer bologna in the case, like the open.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of stuff, and like I don't know, bread. I don't even remember what bread was back then. It was like 70 something
Yeah.
cents, and then the bologna was like $2 and stuff, and it could feed me for like a week.
I was just going to say that's a week's worth
That's
of
a week.
sandwiches.
Dude, my go-to food when I was in the minor leagues making no money was I could cook ground beef,
The spaghetti pots.
spaghetti, the spaghetti sauce, the ragu, and with the meat in it, and a pound of spaghetti, and it would last me for a week.
Jeez, don't tell your Italian friends about that.
No,
ragu.
my wife's disgusted by that conversation.
Yeah,
No, that's not sauce or gravy, which is
Pinocchio's
what
over there looking at us with
Italians.
your ragu talk.
That's what Italians call their sauce is gravy. I get all that, but when you're poor and you got no money, and we were making $400 a month back then after taxes, dude, that would feed me and a couple of roommates for a week.
I wanted to ask you about this. I wanted to get to this story before we end the day today. And I know we still got an hour and a half to go, but I got to sneak this in because I got to get your thoughts. And we're talking about branding and how the cross between sports and branding is. Do you see what's happening to LaMelo Ball?
100%. He's got a corporate tattoo on his neck.
So it's
And they're-
different than putting Coca-Cola on your neck, though. He has got an LF,
Yep.
which is his brand, and it stands for his middle name, which I forget what it is. LaFrancis, maybe? Let's just say
It's
LaFrancis.
LaMelo Flow Ball.
Oh, the F is.
No, I
the
don't
middle
know
name?
what his middle name is.
I-
I would say Francis.
Let's call it LaFrancis.
LaFrancis.
So apparently that's also his logo. Now that logo is a corporate brand. So the
Can't do
NBA, under the bylaws, the collective bargaining
Can't do
agreement,
it.
you cannot have a corporate brand sponsor other than what the NBA and your team allows you to have. You know, we've got the corporate brands on our jerseys now, and everybody was going crazy about that. LaMelo's tattoo is right under his ear. He's going to have to either cover that up with a piece of tape or get
Or a
that
Band-Aid,
tattoo
right.
removed.
I don't think he's going to get removed.
What side do you
and
fall on?
by the
this
way, it is LaFrance. It's LaMelo
No
LaFrance
way!
Ball. You were correct 100%.
LaFrancis.
So, but when you're talking about corporate or trademark infringement, they've got MLB, man. You can't mess with MLB. They will sue the littlest guy. They will go after the littlest company that tries to do any kind of trademark infringement. So to run your own thing out there. That's a total ball thing, though. When his dad used to do
So
all
true.
that stuff, so that's
true.
a total ball move.
But it's his middle name. It's
his
different
middle name,
because
man.
like the brand's
all
his
right,
name.
all right. So since that's the logo, then put a B on it.
Oh wow!
LFB.
You think he should have to add to the
Add to the tattoo, and so it's not a logo. Like you can't put a Nike
Wow,
swoosh. If like they're running out, let's say this is a hypothetical. You have all Adidas wear, and the brand, the new contract is with Adidas, and some guy comes out there and he's got a Nike swoosh on his neck.
This is just like your F1 talk, though. Like I didn't know LaMelo had a clothing line. I did not know it was called.
You just upped his brand so much by doing that.
What if I put a little box? What if I put a heart on it? Put a heart around it. See, it's not the official logo that what we use for La France. I just really like my middle name, so I put a heart around it. So therefore, it's good. Right?
Amy Van Dyken.
Oh, that's right.
She was in the Olympics. Got sued by Coca-Cola for $40 million. You're talking 1996.
I didn't know $40 million.
$40 million for trademark infringement because I think that was the deal.
Well, you want to start high. You go $40 million, but you'll settle for $400.
But listen, if her lawyers argued favorably for her that it was her body, she was allowed to put a tattoo on her body. Of the Olympic rings. They don't have the right to say that. She won the lawsuit. So she didn't have to pay the $40 million. So LaMelo needs to now sue the NBA.
Yes.
You win the right to do whatever you want on your body. My body, my tattoo.
They should use Amy Van Dyken
as a precedent.
Coca-Cola versus Van Dyken precedent.
Absolutely, 100%.
Amy Van Dyken's always wrapped around the world of sports. She's going to be in the NBA doing something now because of this.
I think it was funny. Maybe it wasn't Cocoa. I think it was milk.
Yeah, it was milk.
I think it was milk. It was milk sued. $40 million.
Milk. Who's milk? Milk's the
remember
thing.
They were doing,
How's milk a brand?
They were doing the thing. They were doing the dirty milk on your mouth.
That's got milk. Yes.
Right. You couldn't have the.
How do they take over milk? Milk's like water. They can't just own milk. Who's milk to say that they're milk? Hey, we're not milk.
I agree with that. We're all milk.
Yeah, we got a lawsuit coming milk's way. I don't know.
Let's take a quick break, come back. Mike Crispino joined us in the 3 o'clock hour. Huge game coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll be knocked off the air at about 25 after for the pregame. UConn men's basketball versus those Texas Longhorns in the championship of Madison Square Garden. Can't wait. We'll be right back at the Clubhouse on Main in Glastonbury with their grand opening.
97.9 ESPN.